Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be asking the question, which is the best superstar destroyer? And I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder to break down the 4 that are coming in the Superstar Destroyer pack, which is supposed to be hitting shelves sometime this summer. So it could be as early as July, but probably not. Probably later to like August or September. I'm guessing an early Gen Con release. If you are new here to the channel, I do want to remind you about my giveaway that's going on right now. I'm giving away the 2 Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Celebration exclusive figures, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Let me know what you think about the Superstar Destroyer as it's coming out, and we'll go ahead and enter you to win that. I will ship anywhere worldwide as well. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in and look at these different, these different Superstar Destroyers, because we have 4 different types. So coming in at 220 points, we've got the Star Dreadnought Command Prototype. It's our cheapest model, and that is the one I've done some testing with. I've also done a little bit of testing with this 250 point Star Dreadnought Assault Prototype, and then the other 2 get into the more epic games that cannot fit legally inside a normal 400 point list. And we start off with our 33 hull Executor I class Star Dreadnought at 381 points, and then our 4th at 411 points, our Executor II class Star Dreadnought. So looking at all 4 of these, they get a lot more expensive as we go down the list. 411 points is an obscene amount of points for a ship, but it's also got an obscene amount of shields and dice and all of this. So we're going to really look at, I'm going to break them down into 2 different sections. You got your top half, which are the 2 that you can use in a normal tournament legal list, and then the bottom half, which are the ones that you're going to use more in epic games and more casual friendly purposes. I like them both. I like all 4 of them for different reasons, but I definitely have my favorites. So let's start off with the cheapest version, the Star Dreadnought Command Prototype. This one is only 220 points. So this is kind of the version that you might run if you're going to try to be like a minimalist. You want the big ship that's going to be hard to kill, but you also want to fit a lot of other things. Maybe you're going to use a very squadron heavy fleet for this. You want the points available for that. Maybe you're going to try and fit as many other ships as you can. Like if you're trying to fit another ISD, this might be the type of ship that you take. This way you can potentially fit, 112 points or something like that on top of this, still have room for a commander and maybe an upgrade or 2. That's something that, you might want to lean towards the Star Dreadnought Command Prototype. Now, as far as upgrades, this one does have 2 instances of the fleet command, so you can give out 2 different fleet commands potentially with this ship. You do have 3 officers, you've got weapons teams, and then you've got both a turbo laser and an ion, and an offensive retrofit. We don't have any black die upgrades with no ordnance on here, but we do just have a lot of upgrades. You have 2 blue dice for anti-squadron, but your front arc is really the biggest thing that you're going to get here is that you're going to get 4 red and 4 blue, so you have a really, really good front arc. Again, 6 shields in the front. All of the Superstar Destroyers are incredibly deadly front arcs, and this is, 8 dice is not bad at all. Again, for 220 points, you kind of expect it to be. So, a pretty solid ship. You're looking at 454 for Command Squadron Engineering. It's a good ship. Now, I feel like when we jump up to the Star Dreadnought Assault Prototype, we see a tremendous improvement in options for only 30 points. Now, 30 points is a lot more if you break it down for like smaller ships, but in this epic kind of sense that Superstar Destroyers bring, I feel like 30 points isn't that much considering what you do gain. First off, you're gaining a whole extra die on the front, and it's a red die. So you're getting 5 red dice in the front, and now all of a sudden you've got a really, really good front arc with Simoon capabilities. Plus you have 2 turbo laser slots. Again, it's reminding me a whole lot of a Simoon. Of course, granted, you might just say, well, let's just bring a Simoon instead. Okay, well, no problem. Well, let's talk from there. We've also got 6 in the front, 3 shields on the side, 3 shields on the side too. So our shields are the same. So we're gaining a whole die in the front. We're still 454. But now our anti-squadron, we're upgrading one of those to a red die, and that's a pretty significant upgrade because a red die for anti-squadron has only appeared on 1 ship ever before the Superstar Destroyer, and that's the Quasar. And again, that was only a single case, and while it's great, it kind of requires you to build a certain way to really take advantage of it. Whereas this is, it works a little better here because you're getting 3 attacks on a huge ship. So just really, great options for something like this. It does have, and of course you're going to need gunnery team. It does have the weapons team. Now you're getting 2 ions and 2 turbo lasers on this also. So you're getting a lot more offensive options as well. So this is more geared for, I want to have one heavy gunship, and that's nice. Additionally, instead of just getting one extra die on the front, you're also getting an extra die on the side arcs, the left and right side arc. You're getting a blue die on the front left and a blue die on the front right, which are considered the left and right. On your auxiliary arc, for your left and right auxiliary arcs versus the rear left and right, you're also gaining a blue die there. So you're gaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra dice total. 1 of them red and 4 of them blue. So a tremendous amount of dice gains, and also an important die upgrade for anti-squadron, as well as vastly different and awesome upgrades to your upgrade slots that you can take. Now, what you lose in this case is you do lose the fleet command. So that's maybe one of those things that says, hey, I think I actually need to go with the command prototype instead. If you're looking for like maybe a bigger fleet. Now, when we get into the epic games, we're looking at much more expensive points. So starting with the Executor I Star Dreadnought, this one you're jumping up from 250 to 381 points. A huge leap. And now, what are we gaining when we look at this? First off, we're going to gain, for our dice, our front dice actually stay the same. We're not gaining anything in the front. Now, our left and right are where we actually see some gains. We've still got 3 red, but we're gaining an extra blue on both the left and the right. We're also gaining 2 shields. And 2 shields is no significant thing, so technically 4 shields. We're also gaining 4 more shields on the left and right auxiliary. We're also gaining an extra blue die on the left and right auxiliary. And we're gaining an extra red die in the rear, which is actually interesting because you figure people definitely want to get around this ship. So by making the rear a little bit more deadly, especially if you happen to put spinal armament on here, you're looking like your rear attack would actually be stronger than your auxiliary attacks, which is kind of interesting. So that is pretty cool because there's nothing currently that's going to upgrade the auxiliary attacks that we are aware of. I mean, there may be a hidden upgrade somewhere, who knows? But they haven't spoiled anything like that. But you're also gaining all 4 fleet commands, which is very interesting, especially if you're looking to go for a very, very large fleet. I think this one would be good for that if you wanted to be able to have all 4 fleet commands out there and push a lot of tokens to this ship that it can just trigger all of the fleet commands every single turn. Here's an option and a way for you to do that. Of course, it's going to probably require maybe like a Tarkin commander and some Gazantis or some officers that are giving you extra commands. I can see that. You do have 1 turbo laser, 1 ion cannon, and 1 offensive retrofit. You do also gain 4 officers, though, and I think the officers would be important here because you're looking at definitely kind of a gimmick with an Executor I. And so you need officers to support that gimmick. Now, you do gain additional points. You make the jump to 5 engineering points with the Executor I. You make the jump up to 6 for squadrons, which isn't as significant. Now, the jump to 5 engineering is the more significant numbers jump. Squadrons is just 1 more. That's just a static jump. But 5 engineering has 2 special things that make it significant. First off, a push to 5 increases the value of your token, and that's the most important point because a token is half rounded up. So a token with a value of 5 actually raises the token value to 3, which is a whole damage card. Which with a large ship, that's going to raise your total value up to 8 because when you do a engineering command on a huge ship, you're also going to gain the token as well. So it's going to be 5 plus 3, so it's going to be a total value of 8. Compare that to what it would give you otherwise for the previous versions with an engineering value of 4. Command with a token is only going to give you 6. So by that 1 point going up, you're actually gaining 2 extra engineering points. Which for 8, that's 4 shields straight up back, or lots more combinations. Just about anything you can think of. Or if you only get past a token and you have to do a different command like nav or something like that, you can still gain 3 engineering points. You can still get rid of a damage card, especially a critical damage card, which could be potentially huge on a ship like this. Or maybe you get rid of 2 damage cards and regenerate a shield. Or with this many shields, you'll probably be spending a lot of those points moving shields around from your strong sections to your weak sections and rebalancing your shields. Because again, even in a huge game, the game is only 6 turns, so you're only gonna need those shields in the back for so long. So you might as well put them where they're actually going to be more useful. And the other, there's 2 more real big jumps. We gain an extra anti-squadron die on this one. So now we have 2 blue and a black. So 3 anti-squadron dice is mammoth. We've never seen that before. And that's cool. And it combos so well with other officers and things, especially in a game that's going to be much larger. You have a larger pool for anti-squadron. For most formats, it's about 200 for the really larger formats. So 200 points of squadrons. Imagine if they were all in your front arc and you had gunnery teams and you're just like, with Callus or other upgrades that affect anti-squadron attacks as well, or there's titles that give you free rerolls, all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm digging the anti-squadron pool here, and also the jump in hull up to 33 points. So this is, I think, the biggest reason for the increased cost is you're gaining 11 extra hull points. You see, it's a whole other Star Destroyer. So you're gaining a lot in this. Now, making the jump to the Executor II, we don't gain as much, although our points don't go up a whole lot more either. Again, we're doing another 30-point jump here, up to 411. But this is the deadliest one. First off, our anti-squadron pool gets a change from 1 of the blue to red. So now we have all 3 colors. Still 3 dice, but we can also reach at long range, whereas our Executor I kind of lost the long range as we're going down. We gain, we're at 465 again for commands, but now we gain an extra blue die in the front, so we're gaining 1 extra die. So now we're looking at a total of 10 dice in the front. We're gaining a red die on the left and right, and we're gaining a red die on the auxiliary left and right. So we're gaining a lot more red dice. We're a much greater threat at long range. We don't really gain anything on the rear, though, and our shields don't go up. But the upgrades change significantly here. So very similar. Like, I think I kind of compare these two. I think the Executor II is more comparable to the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype, and then the Executor I is more comparable to the Star Dreadnought Command prototype. And by looking at the Executor II, we gain similar upgrades. We got the double turbo laser, double ion, double offensive retrofit, 4 officers like we do with the more expensive versions. We still get 1 weapons team, but here we also get a fleet command. So if you do want to have intensify firepower, especially with this many red dice, I think it's a good option. I think it's actually a great option. So intensify firepower, really cool here. However, I just don't know if it's worth the points. So again, for something like this, you have to be running a bigger game, probably at least a 600-point game, maybe more than that, maybe 1,000 or 1,200-point game even, to consider something like the Executor II. But at 411 points, I feel like the best out of all of these is going to be the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype. Now, that's just my personal opinion, and the reason for that is just because of the points difference. I look at it as, with all of these, the main goal is to really have them in your front arc. And so as far as like competitively, I see myself using, even in a big game, one of the 2 cheaper ones. Because, I mean, heck, if I wanted to, I could just run 2 Star Dreadnought Command prototypes at 440 points, which is only a little bit more than a single Executor II. So, and granted, I get more stuff here, but that would actually be 44 hull points. If you do the math, and you're only, it seems like it's more efficient to just add multiples of the cheapest version. But I like the comfy medium. I like what the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype gives. I think that may be my favorite one out of all of them because of just the possibilities and the offensive capability. Clearly, you do need to keep the enemy in your frontal arc, and that's obvious here. Now, you're a little bit less punished with the Executor II because you do have more red dice all around. People aren't going to get that close to the ship. Especially in your front arc. So I don't expect that the blue dice are going to matter very much. I think I put a lot more stock in red dice, especially with the other officers and everything that come with this ship. So I feel like for 250 points, I don't want to spend 161 points extra just to have a little more hull, a better anti-squadron attack, and more dice and shields on the sides. I'm focused more on the front because I figure that's where I want to point myself towards the enemy. I'm probably going to be running a lot of nav commands to make sure I'm steering in the right direction. And if it's a larger game, which, again, if we're even considering the more expensive Super Star Destroyers, it would have to be a larger game. I'm probably going to have other flank ships, maybe Victories or something cheap, or at least to kind of fill up the size to prevent you from trying to flank me. And that's kind of the idea, is have the arrowhead kind of in the middle and all the support ships on the side so that you just can't really get through. That's kind of my plan. And with that plan, I feel like I'm most efficient going with a Star Dreadnought Assault prototype, because I do have the 5 red in the front, which is the same that we get in the Executor. I got 6 shields in the front, which is the same that we get in the Executor, right? So for 161 point difference, I could easily jump over. Here we're going to jump to, boom. You know, I'm only a little bit over here, but here I've added, so let's go back. Like if I'm looking at this ship right here, it's 411 points. For just 5 more points, I could build out an epic fleet with 416 with a Star Dreadnought Assault prototype. Again, same front arc, Simoon, a whole extra 5 dice, and an Architens, for support on the other side. So I mean, I just feel like this is such a better value for what you're getting here, because you're still getting the two turbo lasers, so we can still do crazy things like spinal armament, make it 6 red in the front. We can give ourselves officers like Krennic. Boom, Now I've got that front with rerolls. I can still and I can put these upgrades on either ship, but it's so much better on a ship that's 161 points cheaper that I feel like the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype is great. Now, obviously, you're looking like in a big game, you're gonna have a lot of people shooting at you, and I get that. But I feel like if they've got that much damage that they can take down 22 points, they can probably take down 33 points. So my hope is that they're not able to take down 22 points. That they're and I think you definitely, for a big epic game, I'll probably add some support ships, some Gazantes with repair teams, some maybe an interdictor with weapons teams. Or I kind of like the idea of having a couple of gladiators with projection experts. Gladiators with projection experts is a real cheap way to transfer shields. 62 points. It's a lot cheaper than running, having to run a bunch of, interdictors to do the same thing. That's an option. It is an option. Now, I kind of dig that idea. If we run 2 of these, I mean, we can build a 1,000-point fleet here real quick. That's going to be, kind of crazy. Again, we run a couple of spinal armaments. We can even put like XI7, which is crazy strong. Especially if rebels come at us with a bunch of MC30s, right? And we're only at 592, whereas if we started with an Executor I, that we'd still only, we'd be adding our second ship and hitting in the 500s. So just a lot better value, I feel like, from the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype. And the things that the extra points go to for the more expensive versions are things like, I don't think you want to spend almost 500 points on a ship just so that it's strong everywhere. Rather have it just be strongest in one point and make sure you're doing nav commands to point that one strong point where it needs to go. And in an epic game of that size anyway, there's going to be lots of ships, so you're always going to have a target. And don't forget, spinal armament also helps your rear, so you can still get those really strong rear shots. And heck, I mean, if we're running an SSD, I also am a big fan of the Ravager title. I'm going to do a concentrate fire command. I'm going to get a red die. I'm also going to get a token, which can also add another red die. So even at long range, if you're trying to skirt and stay out of my front arc, I've already got 5, 6 with spinal armament, 7 with concentrate fire, 8 with Ravager, and then Krennic, I did concentrate fire. Now I can reroll all my red dice. Oh, and by the way, I spent a token also. I can reroll 2 more of them, so I can really fish for those doubles. And that's even without Vader as your commander. So I love the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype, and that is my pick for favorite Super Star Destroyer. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. There are plenty more available. I think the Executor II and the more expensive ones are great for just the fun factor of games. But I think if you're trying to win and be efficient and design like a winning capable list, I feel like the cheaper ones are the better options. I think these are better for making like a 1,600 point game go a little faster. Because you will have, for one activation, you'll be moving half of your list. So like that could be fun also, but I still feel like the tournament legal Super Star Destroyers are the better options. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. Hop on Crabbok.com. You can check out my Discord as well and say hi to us over there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.